Oh, Peter Capaldi, your dry wit soothes my soul. Good evening. I'm Johnny, and welcome to the Ginger Geek Show. So 2 weeks ago, I reviewed the first 2 episodes of the new season of Doctor Who. Now it's been 2 weeks. 2 new episodes have now came out. So let's talk about them, shall we? Let's talk about Boom and 73 Yards in the imaginary TV that's in front of me. So let's talk about the third episode, Boom, which sees the return of the king himself, Stephen Moffat. Now, I'm a big Moffat fan. I know there's many people that don't like Moffat, but you know, there's always has to be that guy. But I very much enjoy his writing, his dialogue, his style, his tone. I always say, and Boom is a good example of this, he knows atmosphere when it comes to Doctor Who. He's just so damn good at writing atmosphere. First of all, I want to quickly talk about, once again, Ncuti and Millie, who always are, to me, the highlights of these episodes. And once again, they're fantastic here. I think both Moffat gives them great stuff to work with. I think we really see some good stuff with Ncuti as well. He really gets to show a little bit more emotion, a bit more intensity, especially with what obviously happens to him in the episode, as well as with Millie, where she has a little bit more, time to shine on her own and having to kind of think on her own sort of stuff, which also I quite like. What I also like is that it brings in some nice little kind of references of the kind of Moffat era with the clerks and that sort of stuff, which I always enjoy. I like that kind of world building. I really like Moffat's era world building, especially. That was more in the kind of Matt Smith era, where it was all that kind of sort of stuff, and we had, because they were in the Angels two-parter, they were in A Good Man Goes to War, and also they were in Matt Smith's last episode, which is God to the Time of the Doctor, yeah. He was also in that, and I like that old stuff. It was basically Unit in space a little bit. It felt like, which I quite liked, and I like that sort of stuff. But just in general of the episode and what I felt, I loved it. I thought it was atmospheric. I thought it felt very tense and very dark. It's such a great little concept of what happens if the Doctor stands on a landmine, which I like, because the Doctor's normally very quite, here, there, and everywhere, I could do my Jeff Goldblum impression. As I say, I think Moffat just kind of gets what Doctor Who kind of is and what makes it tick. I don't know, some folk were a bit funny in the first 2 episodes. I wasn't crazy about the first one. I quite enjoyed the second one, but Jesus, that second episode seemed to really got hammered by a lot of Doctor Who fans, especially on Twitter. But when are Doctor Who fans ever happy on Twitter, to be honest? But the third one I thoroughly enjoyed. But I enjoyed the second one, to be honest, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the third one. As I say, it's amazing how, for most of the story is taking place on just the Doctor standing on a landmine, but yet it's entertaining, and you're gripped to it. You're very much captivated, and that is also just a testament to Moffat's writing and how good he is at the job. I wish I just had even 1% of his talents. But overall, thoroughly enjoyed it. I think what this season is doing well is giving a good mix. The first 3 episodes feel nothing alike, and I like that. I like that kind of feel. That is, to me, is what Doctor Who should be, is that kind of a good mix of the show. So yes, overall, yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Great atmosphere, tense, exciting, good bit of drama. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Now let's talk about 73 Yards. And when you first watch this episode, you automatically know that something's a bit different. Something's a bit more pretentious, a little bit, you might say. How they don't do the Doctor Who titles. That's when you know, like Sleep No More. It's like, oh, they're doing something different. They're doing something different here, and I don't really I never really get that kind of reasoning for it. It's like, look, this is the show. If you don't really think the show can be this, then maybe just don't do it. Personally, that's how I kind of feel. Don't try and make the show to be what it isn't. I think going into 73 Yards, I'm going to say it right now. My overall thoughts was just basically absolutely adored the first half, and then it just kind of falls flat for me in the kind of second half. When I was watching this at midnight, which was quite a good time because it is quite a creepy episode, I'm not gonna lie with that. The first chunk, I was thinking this is Russell T Davies's best script here. It's some really good stuff here. So much so I wish it stayed in Wales in that area, and I wish Ruby goes to that pub. There's that little kind of group in the pub, who I really liked, and they were a nice little kind of group of characters, and I thought it was a bit of a shame they couldn't keep maybe somehow like stay there. I think that would have been kind of cool. I would have liked that more, and I loved who, I guess if you've not seen the episode, this is definitely a spoiler. Turns out to be Ruby from the future. Is the woman that's stalking her, and that visual of that I really liked. I really loved that stuff. I thought that was really effective, and I really liked that, and how she was like moving and the way she was moving. I liked all that sort of stuff. I thought that worked really well. But as I says, it was good, and I enjoyed all that sort of stuff. It was great seeing Kate back, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart. That was always fun. My dad had a wee he was very excited about seeing Kate, and I like that, and I liked how it was used. I'm going to say right now, it is basically a copy of The Curse of Clyde Langer. If you ever watched Sarah Jane Adventures, it's near enough that. The basic premise: someone clearly has bad luck, and everyone's turned against them. But it's basically just the inclusion of this whole 73 yards. It's a fun kind of concept, I liked it, but as it says, as the episode kind of goes on, it's suddenly, it's just such a shame, because the first half, the pacing and the momentum, I was loving. It was nice and slow, and then all of a sudden we're moving a bit fast, and it's like it's almost like Russell had and believe me, when I try and write things, I know how hard this is, where you've got a great premise, you've got a great idea that you think, and then you're like, I need to end this soon, so it's like I need to suddenly kind of rush it. And you've seen this many times, this happens so much. It's the start is always easier than the end, really, I always think. The way it suddenly just kind of moved didn't feel organic to me. And then when we got introduced to the villain, who, I'm sorry, they really bigged up this guy. I remember they made such a big deal, and he's in 3 scenes, and he's just kind of stereotypical. He wants to blow up the world, it seems, with missiles. He seems to be hell-bent on that idea. So you got that, and she realizes that this is the thing that she needs to stop him. Right. She needs to stop him, and that will stop what she thinks at the time is the woman, but it didn't. So what was the point? I don't know. And then as it gets on to the end, it turns out that the old Ruby now, she's really old, and she knows how to turn off lights. She knows how to do that. Don't tell her. She was born in that era. That she can time travel. I don't know what happens at the end. I don't know what they're trying to insinuate to me. If I think that's what it said. I don't know if that's insinuating that she can time travel, because all of a sudden she's there, and she is the woman that was standing afar, and I guess she whispers, and Ruby kind of hears, oh, don't stand in that for the Doctor. Again, I don't know what's up with the Doctor this season, bloody standing on things, but he stands in that, which then kind of resolves everything, that this alternate timeline never actually happened. And this is where I just don't like it, because it's like, well, what was the point of this episode? It's like that whole, it was just a dream. It's all that, and it's like, okay, but what did the character learn? Ruby as a character has learned nothing from that experience. A good example is when you look at Turn Left, a really solid episode, but kind of similar, of an alternate kind of timeline sort of thing. But the character learned something, obviously, with the whole Bad Wolf stuff, which then continued on to Stolen Earth. There was something that kind of continued on. Now, I obviously would change my mind where I've got a feeling, maybe not, but there might be some connection to the finale with Ruby, possibly. I kind of would maybe hope so, because right now it did feel like what was kind of the point of all this then. Because as I say, it's like I absolutely adored the first half. It was absolutely stellar. Really loved the first half, and then it just falls kind of flat the second half. And it was so good because I was actually really quite looking forward to this one, and that was mostly because of Russell T Davies. He was really bigging up this episode. So if you're going to do that, well, I'm going to get excited. I'm not surely about it, but so yeah, that's my overall. I apologise if that was a bit of a ramble, but that's also how it felt a little bit, was a bit of a ramble at the end. But as I always will say, I did enjoy the first, I always be honest, I loved the first half, and there was a lot of stuff I liked about it, but it was just that second half, it just kind of felt flat, and it felt very rushed, and then the overall thing, you're feeling like, you know, I could easily just skip that episode, and it's not going to affect the overall arc, is it? No, it's not. So, but as I says, it might connect. It surely will have some sort of reason. So, yeah, that's my reviews of Boom and 73 Yards. Absolutely adored and loved 73 Yards. Really adored the first part of 73 Yards, but not a fan of the second bit. So, but overall, I think that was a good. You know, it's weird. Like first two episodes, overall fun, silly. Boom and 73 Yards was just. Yeah, so crazy just how the difference of like two episodes can be completely but that's Doctor Who, and I love it for it. So I'd like to know what you guys think. Please comment and like and share and all that sort of jazz. That would be fantastic. More videos in the future. I'll be back in 2 weeks again to review the next two episodes, which I have got. I had no idea what those names are. I don't know. The trailer looked terrible for the next. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of that one. But I will see you in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to it. You better be there, okay? I'm going to be there because I'm always here. Because I've got no life. Goodbye.